Hi, Tracy Pianowski here, integrative and functional nutritionist. And since summer solstice was 3 days ago, it is officially summer. Can you tell? Because I'm wearing half the clothing that I usually do and none of my parka on. So it's officially summer, and there's a few things I want to give you a heads up about. Uh, what I think we all are guilty of is that things we've done our whole life, we tend to just keep doing. So let's start with the fact that, your whole life, you've been, depending on your age, you've been going to get a pedicure, right? It's something you do with the girls, with your mom, with your sister. It's some sort of special event, and it's summer. So even though I've gone through my whole bathroom and examined lotions and deodorants and shampoos and conditioners, and you know what I'm talking about if you've followed me for a while, the other day I'm off getting a pedicure, and I have to say it just really wasn't on my radar. I did just do a detox test on myself a while ago, and I did come up positive for phthalates and parabens, and so it's a little bit more on my radar. And so there I am sitting with my feet in hot water, and then we scrub them and we take off the old polish. And then the moment that I guess really caught me is when my girl said, okay, I'm now going to put this mask scrub on your feet, and then we're going to put hot towels around there and then plastic around that. We're going to really hydrate my skin, right? And I said, yeah, sure. Can I see that bottle? And it's already on me, and I'm reading the bottle, and guess what? It's full of parabens, methylparaben, this paraben, that paraben. Like, there's all kinds of words on there. So I just cringe, and then we have a little giggle about it, because what else are you going to do? And she is getting some new stuff, and she had thought of me because I keep talking about all this stuff when I go in and have my hair just cut and get all the fancy colors and all that, but I do have to have my hair cut still. And so she said, look, Tracy, I'm going to get this natural stuff. And the natural stuff does have the word fragrance, which could mean lots of things, but it is doesn't not full of parabens, which is a good sign. So what I want to help clue you in about is that your polish has toluene, the remover is acetone, scrubs and masks can easily have parabens. The word fragrances can easily disguise phthalates, which is PHTHLATES. Both phthalates and parabens are known endocrine disruptors, meaning that they act like fake estrogen for us. So let's say that you have an estrogen dominance disorder. You have PMS, you have really heavy periods, you have fibrocystic breasts, you have polycystic ovaries. Those are all conditions where there's too much estrogen. But is it really too much estrogen, or is it the fact that we have our own estrogen, plus we have all these synthetic estrogens coming in from the environment? So I just want to give you a heads up. I'm not saying don't get a pedicure. That will not be my last pedicure in my life. Here are some options. You can take your own things. You can just do that on a special occasion. I would say that if you're really super sick, and this is so obvious, but if you have multiple chemical sensitivity, chronic fatigue, and you're fighting to stay awake on a daily basis and get through life, getting a pedicure probably isn't the spa treatment that you need. Maybe you need a hot stone massage or something. I have another little story I'm just going to throw in because I have a new patient, and we just did MRT on her. She's got migraines, so she gets her list, and she's reactive out of lots of things to a chemical that we're able to test for called polysorbate 80. So she goes home, not only goes through her food cabinet looking at all the salad dressings and things like cottage cheese, anything that's creamy will have polysorbate 80 and it's a preservative. She also goes through her cosmetics, and she said every single thing she was putting on her face, on her skin, wherever, had polysorbate 80 or polysorbate 20. So I'm just going to remind you to look in some of the places that you maybe just haven't thought about. We all, like I said, we're all guilty of, we do these things, and maybe you've cleaned up a lot of things in your life, but maybe it's time to go back and look at a couple more. The other thing that I want to talk about, because it's summer, is sunscreen. So I don't really know why, I don't know who gets the credit, but several years ago I heard a lecture, it sort of alluded to this, and I remember thinking, why would we think that slathering chemicals all over our body with God only knows what, and then baking in the sun is good for us? And I am a lizard. I am happy to wear this and to get some natural sunlight. But I think it's important to remember that there are some databases that you can use, and you can find sunscreen that's not at least full of cancer-causing substances. And I want to point out that in 2007, the FDA admitted that sunscreens, that evidence fails to show benefit. The Environmental Working Group, who I do think a lot of, says that many sunscreens may even accelerate. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh my gosh, we can't win. If we go out in the sun, we have cancer. If we don't go in the sun, then we don't get our vitamin D. I get it. Here's my strategies. You should wear the shoe that works best for you. I would say don't burn. Try to do your gardening and your outdoor activities not between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. I would say that we need some sun. This is where we get UVB rays, be like boy, and that's how we make our vitamin D. And sunscreens also block melanin, which is one of the ways that we use to fight cancer. There is evidence, and I can't whip it all off the top of my head, but places that have less sun, like Minnesota, have more cancer, and places, and there's also studies showing that people who work outdoors, construction workers, farmers, they have less cancer than people who work indoors. So the story's definitely not straight, and I know the medical world's always changing, and yes, it absolutely can be overwhelming. Here's what I always come back to, I have for years. What did my grandparents do? Well, they didn't probably try to work outside between 10 and 2 or the hottest times of the day. They covered up, they slowly get a tan. They didn't just go out with fair skin on Wednesday or Saturday fishing and decide to get their entire tan in one day. It was something you gradually worked up to. And I have a little bit of a tan right now, and I'm happy to. I'm happy to get my vitamin D through the sun when I can, because I don't think we know all about vitamin D supplements either, but that's another story. I'm all for vitamin D. I think that whatever we can do through diet and lifestyle, healthy lifestyles, that's who I am, right? So today we're not really talking about food. So that's my thoughts for you. So there's the Environmental Working Group, and they make an app that you can take with you on your smartphone, and you can follow Campaign for Safe Cosmetics on Facebook and learn a ton. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, because it's summer, is that you're going to need your electrolytes. If it is hot where you're at, whether you're like my husband and you're working outside on the south side of a building in all the heat, or whether you're going to the gym and really sweating it out, you need to replace your electrolytes. You will feel better, I promise, if you get a good electrolyte formula. Electrolytes should not be taken with sugar, so completely discount the whole Gatorade thing, and the fact that they have all those food colorings in them. But you really do just need a plain old electrolyte. Our favorite here at the Kanoski House is called E-Lite. You can get it at Emerson Ecologics. It's a 20-ounce bottle, and it's a concentrate. You mix it into a gallon and a half of water, or we kind of cheat and we just take a swig and chase it with water. Johnny especially. He just went on a mission trip to the Philippines. I sent him 2 bottles. He did great. A couple summers ago, he really was framing a building on the south side of the world. In like 100-degree days, and I made sure he took his electrolytes at lunchtime and then also again at night, and the difference was night and day. Before electrolytes, he'd come home and just be toast and just end up being a sofa guy, and after electrolytes he would come home and be able to go work in the garden or mow the yard or whatever. It really is incredible. If you want to blink your eyes, you need electrolytes. If you want to raise your arm, you need electrolytes. They are like the light switch or electricity for our whole body and the circuitry, so you really do need them, and it's not enough just to drink even salt water. Electrolytes are calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium, and you need all 4 without sugar. So that's my healthy tips for today. Be sure to share this. Hit like if you're watching it on YouTube. Somebody you know undoubtedly needs a heads up or some of the information I've shared, so just be sure to spread it around, and I'll see you next week. Take care, be healthy.